Welcome everybody to a look at the latest Radiance Films box set release, and it is the second volume of the Shinobi series. So we've already had the previous three films in this series, so this is the fourth, fifth and sixth films in that series. Yeah, I was really rather impressed by the first three films in the Shinobi series, so yeah, I was really looking forward to seeing these, and for the most part they have not disappointed. So the first, all three films are set between 1614 and 1651. They are all period action films. All three of the films star Raizu Ichikawa, who was also in the first three of the Shinobi series. He was also in A Certain Killer and A Killer's Key. Those two were released as a double feature via Arrow Video. And in the first two films, we got Tomosubaru Wakayama, who was also in the first two of the Shinobi films, so in four in total out of the six. He was also in the Lone Wolf and Cub series. Four of the six films in that one are absolutely excellent, as well as Big Time Gambling Boss and Sympathy for the Underdog, but that's only just a few of his films I've seen. He's probably one of the most prolific Japanese actors that I've seen films from. So the first film is Shinobi no Mono for Siege. So this was released in 1964. It's directed by Tokazuo Tanaka, who also seen films from him in the form of the likes of the third of the Zatuchi films, the New Tale of Zatuchi. He was also did the 13th film in that series, Zatuchi's Vengeance, and the fourth film in that series as well, Zatuchi the Fugitive, as well as The Snow Woman, which was a Radiance Films release as well via the Dai Gothic box set. So this clocks in at 87 minutes long. So Mist Saizu is a legendary folk hero and Eiga ninja. Working in the service of warlord Yukimura Sanada, he plots to assassinate Shogun Ieyasu Tokugawa, but finds himself facing the might of the nation's supreme ruler. So yeah, this is a new character for the series. However, plenty of the elements in the previous three films are still present in this fourth entry, even with the introduction of a new character. Some of those elements are bad, most of them are good. For instance, we get a lot of exposition at the start, which is quite overwhelming. But just like the first film in the series, once it settles into the plot, this becomes much less of an issue. That said, the positives of the prior entries do remain, with the cast being really good, the cinematography being on point. It is well paced, has some really rather great action throughout, solid production value, especially when it comes to the really rather quite large scale battle scenes, where there's obviously a lot of extras, a lot of fighting going on, but there's also a lot of destruction, as there's a lot of cannon fire going, so walls and buildings and roofs and all sorts are being destroyed, and it all looks very convincing, and it is predominantly engaging throughout. So yeah, like the previous three films in the series, this gets a 4 out of 5, so it does maintain the quality of the prior three films. And the second film, Shinobi no Mono 5, Return of Mist Saizo, also released in 1964. So this is directed by Katsuo Ikehiro, who also did the sixth film in the Zatuchi series, Zatuchi and the Chest of Gold, as well as the seventh film in that series, Zatuchi's Flashing Sword, and the 14th, Zatuchi's Pilgrimage, which really just show how much of a massive, influence or, part of Japanese cinema that series was. But then again, you released 24 films in the space of, 10 or so years, and it's bound to be. But yeah, this one is the longest in in this box set at 91 minutes long. Alongside the two prior cast members I've already mentioned, we also have Shiho Fujimura, who was also in The Snow Woman, as well as Return of Daimajin, the second film in the Daimajin series, as well as the first Shinobi film as Maki. She was also in the fifth Zatuchi film, Zatuchi on the Road, as well as the 15th Zatuchi film, Zatuchi's Cane Sword, and she was also in Inugami, which was one of the Japanese horror films in the Arrow Video box set. So yeah, once again, another actor that's been in several different films across different boutique labels. So yeah, Saizu continues to serve the Daimyo Sanada. After the fall of Osaka Castle in the prior film, they flee to an allied camp, and once there, start plotting how to fight back and win the war. They come across a gun merchant with a unique 3-barreled gun giving the holder incredible firepower. Technically, he's got the power of 3 men versus 1. They begin to strategize ways to find out how the merchants selling these firearms has acquired them, hoping that possession of these weapons in their arsenal will lead to ultimate victory. So this is a darker and more complex entry in this series, especially when compared to the prior effort, but it is no less engaging as a result. The cast is once again really good, the pacing is well executed, despite being more complex, the plot doesn't feel overstuffed, the violence is improved, the action scenes are effective, and it is well shot throughout. So, yeah, another 4 out of 5. No major issues with that film whatsoever. And last but not least, we have the 6th film, Shinobi no Mono 6, The Last Eiga Spy, or Eiga Spy. So yeah, this is from 1965, and it's directed by Katsuo Mori, who also did the films A Certain Killer and The Killer's Key, which we've already talked about, as well as the second of the Zatoichi films, The Tale of Zatoichi Continues, the 11th film in that series, Zatoichi and the Doomed Man, and the 23rd film in that series, Zatoichi at Large. He also did the third and final of the Daimajin films, Wrath of Daimajin, as well as the third Shinobi film, Resurrection. So, yeah, this clocks in at 89 minutes long, so it's the second longest, and also stars Kaoru Yachigusa, who was in the Samurai trilogy, which is an excellent trilogy of films if you've never seen those, as well as the Ishiro Honda film, The Human Vapor. And finally, Isao Yamagata, who was in the 14th Zatoichi film, Zatoichi's Pilgrimage, as well as Warning from Space, that's that one with those aliens that look like starfish, and Jackaman and Tetsu, which is a film that 88 Films released earlier this year. So Saizo's son, Kirigakuri Saizuki, who after seeing his father die at the Battle of Shimabara, grows up to be an expert ninja. Before he dies, Miss Saizu tells his children Sasuke and Yuri that they are not really brother and sister. She is in fact the daughter of the late Lord Sanada Yukimura, that was played by Tomosabu Wakayama. 14 years after the death of his father, Suzuki is recruited by a rebellious warlord to assist a plot to overthrow the government, but the shogun hires a rival ninja clan to thwart the uprising. So, yeah, like with the prior entry, the plot to this is quite complex, but unlike that prior entry, this does feel a little overstuffed. This is due to it not just balancing aspects found in the previous effort, but there is also an abundance of themes on top. The previous film and the first film weren't really overly theme heavy, but this one definitely is. You've got themes of revenge and continuing the legacy of your parent and such, which those themes are definitely worthwhile. Just a shame that they aren't given quite as much time to flourish as the political intrigue and action that, quite frankly, does dominate the plot of this film. The action in this, outside of one particularly visually great scene, which takes some place on top of a rooftop while it's thunder and lightning and raining, isn't as good as the prior films, while also being noticeably less violent. Thankfully, the cast is once again really good, the pacing is on point, it is well shot, the period production is convincing, and it is generally engaging, but unfortunately this is going to be the first film in the series to not get the 4 out of 5. It's just below at 3.5 out of 5, but quite frankly, to have 5 films in a row at 4 out of 5 is quite a good hit rate, to be honest. And at the end of the day, it's not an awful film. I just feel like it's a little bit overstuffed, which doesn't help the complexity of the plot, or nor help the themes come to the fore all that great. So yeah, but still, overall, a really great box set, and it will go very nicely with the first one. So yeah, really pleased with this box set. I really like the look of it as well. So yeah, no issues in that regard. Then we have the first 2 films on the first disc. And on this disc, we have a high definition digital transfer made available on Blu-ray for the first time in the world, which I think is the case for both films. And then we've got uncompressed PCM audio, then interview with Japanese period film historian Taichi Kasuga, which is from 2025, the clock's in at 24 minutes long. Then we've got a select scene audio commentary on Siege by Tom Mez from 2025. Then The Faces of Raizu, a visual essay by Tom Mez, also from 2025, that cuts in at 4 minutes long. Newly improved English subtitle translation. and then we've got the reversible sleeve artwork as well, which has both titles on the reversible sleeve artwork. And in this first case, we have what are they calling them? Postcards, 6 of them, featuring promotional images from the films. So I'll show you them now. Now, there's nothing on the back of these or anything like that. So yeah, they are all in black and white, the films, but they all do look great and sound great as well. There's no issues at all in terms of sound quality or visual quality as well. So yeah. But then again, that was the case for the first 3 films in the previous box set, so it's no surprise that that continues with this one. So yeah, they're all nice. And then on we have the third and final film on its own disc. So this, as you can see, is rated a 12 and not a 15. So that does show, or say, as far as I'm concerned, that it is a less violent film, and that is evident in the fact that there's not nowhere near as much blood and such. So again, this has had a high definition transfer made available on Blu-ray for the first time in the world, uncompressed mono PCM audio. Interview with Ninja film scholar Mance Thompson from 2025, clocking in 18 minutes long. And then we have The Tragedy of Miss Sizo, a visual essay by film critic Hayley Scanlon from 2025, clocking in at 12 minutes long. And again, new and improved English optional subtitles. And in this case, we have a booklet. It's quite a sizable one, to be honest. Bigger than we used to usually get, but then again, it does have a lot more in the way of films to talk about. So in the contents, or in the booklet itself, should I say, we have the cast and the crew for each of the films. Then we have Gorillas in the Mist from 2025 by Jonathan Clements. The Ninja, an Invented Tradition from 2015 by Stephen Turnbull. And then transfer notes and credits, as well as images of the images from the films throughout as well. So yeah, Siege, Return of Mr. Sizo, and The Last Eager Spy were transferred in 2K by the Kadokawa Corporation and supplies to Radiance Films as a high definition digital file. So that's usually the case. You usually get them as digital files, but I guess that's no issue at all if as long as it's done in the right manner. And yeah, I think that's everything in this release, to be honest. So yeah, 3 on the whole really rather good films. It's just a shame that the third and final film in this box set, sixth film in the series overall, isn't quite able to maintain the quality of the previous films. But it's usually the case for these Japanese film series that go on for quite some time. It was the same case for the Lone Wolf and Cub series that kind of trailed off in the final film. I think the Satucci series also did that with the 24th film, although it was kind of brought back a bit with the 25th film that was eventually released in the 80s. But still, you know, I'm fine with the fact that at least 5 of the 6 films are really, really good. And at the end of the day, it's only half a star drop in terms of the 6th film, and it still has plenty of films going for it as well. So it's by no means a bad film. It's just not quite able to maintain the same kind of level of quality. So yeah, I do highly recommend this series if you've not seen any of them before. I'm not sure if the first box set is still in print or not, or whether or not there's a standard editions of each of the films. But regardless, these films are well worth watching. They obviously helped introduce the whole idea of the ninja into cinematic films, and yeah, you will see plenty of the kind of stuff that are in these films, especially in the first one, that would be seen in the likes of, say, You Only Live Twice, the James Bond film, in particular the way that one of the characters is poisoned. So yeah, great films on the whole, and yeah, really pleased with this box set overall. But nonetheless, thank you for watching. If you've seen any of these films before, I'd like to hear your thoughts on them. But thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.